Do things seem backwards to anyone else, like reality is not what it used to be? That's what we're going to talk about on the ZoliArt Montana podcast. My name is Linda, here with Zoli Althea Brown. Tell me, Zoli, what is with this?
You know, I, it's very interesting. I really didn't consider that connection of words that things are backwards. It appears that the obvious is being presented as not being real. And the icky ones, they want to take away your balance, the things that you trust, gravity, whatever presents to you, the things that you know are valid about you and your life and about reality, because there's some very valid things about reality. We're not getting metaphysical here. We're talking about the real physical world, the five physical senses. And I think that's what you're addressing because I've heard some things on the news and I'm thinking, what the holy hell do they think? Do people not see through this? So are we being tested? I think so, in a way, because media, they're there to do one thing, to make money. They can only make money if they get your attention. We addressed briefly on the radio show yesterday the idea that I think is going on with commercials. That you look at a commercial, it's commercial. What does that mean? Commerciality is to make money. But we get in this dreamy state, we drift. There are no real prices shown. What you're shown is a combination of acutely, specifically chosen colors, people that they want the population to connect with, that they are targeting, the sounds. They may even bring up an idea of it smells like this. So it's just part of life. We're not going to get away from it. I love advertising. I think it's incredibly clever and fun. You know, some of the Super Bowl commercials are classic. So I'm not dissing ads, but the purpose of this is to hook us in. So if things seem backwards, I think is a quite real approach to what do we not want to believe? What do you present it? And what are they trying to make you think and feel and react to? Because once you start reacting, there you go. We've got the limbic system, we have the reptilian brain, we have our programming from childhood, which we all have. And they'll take those things and twist them just enough to make you uncomfortable. I think that could be what you're addressing. What are your ideas on that? It's a great question.
That makes a lot of sense because it really seems as though it's the reaction that then gets us caught up and carried away and shifts the direction that we were maybe going in that day or week or event.
Our reactivity is, I'm fascinated with that subject. What makes me react when I find myself ramping up and I'm fiery? I'm a fiery person. You know, what is it? It's Scottish heritage, Aries, INFJ. Now that I know that's what I am, because I've lied thinking I was INFP. Look at my old test. No, you're not. I reacted to something that I thought was real. So when we react to something, we start trying to fit into it, right? It's like you're playing a game and you have to react to what the other players are doing. You want to be not, don't want to lose. You don't want to show yourself as a fool. You want to present yourself well. But the reactivity thwarts that. It's our emotional body drives me crazy. Oh my God. If I could find a way just to stay calm all the time, the breathing exercises work, the things that you and I discussed, being in nature, what works for you. So, how do we know what we react to? I think if we take during the day and just say, I'm going to watch me watching me, I'm going to see what brings up discomfort, and plenty of things will. The mind is a busy place. It is like Walmart on steroids 24/7. It's always going. So, in order to calm that, we need to feel. And when we feel, the mind will calm itself down because there's nowhere for it to enter into that feeling. And that feeling is love, it's the heart, it's your compassion and your passion, but not just for you, it's for the good of the whole. And sometimes it takes a while to figure out what that is.
My question is, how do you go from rage to love, especially like I was talking about things feeling backwards. There's some things that are just so wrong. I could use a lot of controversial topics, but I'll just choose one example. Like there's a vehicle company, they have heated seats, but you cannot access the heated seats unless you pay a monthly subscription, which is it's something that just makes you so angry because it's just pure profit driven and it's unreasonable. So how do you go from the rage of something you can't control that's unreasonable to love?
I love that because I've been dealing with something like that too, just unreasonableness. And I caught myself up and thinking I needed that. What are we doing? What do we think we deserve? And what do we need? When we react to something, we're going on an emotional thing of that's not fair, right? I need something better than that. I need something different. But it's always the emotion. How do you get to love? I think we have to realize that pisses me off. It's commercialism and I'm being used. Here, same kind of example. I bought a new face line, things to use for my face. Hopefully it will help. This is all you need, these three products. 2 weeks later, well, here's their new moisturizer. Well, I thought that was all I needed. So I felt betrayed and I should have known, Zoli, what are you doing? You're shrewder than that. But we want to be comforted. We want to be comfortable and we want to believe what they're saying is true. Most of it is not because they're selling you something. It's commercialism. And when we do this in our interpersonal relationships, it's toxic. So, once again, how do you get from wackoness to love? The love is always there. The door is always there in that hall of wacky things coming at you. I don't know, what is it? Gargoyles and snakes and people that you hate, and all this stuff is always coming at you. That calm is always there. What helps is to be able to see the humor in it. When we can get to that point, we're not going to stop reacting. It's part of human nature. But I think, and I'm experimenting with this, watching myself watch myself. Why do you react to that? Well, it reminds me of the time that this happened. And we can always back it up to when something like that happened before. We didn't get it then, so here we are again. And that's irritating.
Yeah, and I sometimes do that as a parent. I'll watch myself and I'm seeing how I was parented. And it's not necessarily a choice I would make, but I'm out of anger or frustration or overwhelm. I'm seeing my own how I was parented come out of me, but I'm watching myself do it. It's very weird.
Well, it's not weird. It's where did you learn your parenting skills? From your parents. Everybody did. I've become my mother. Oh my God, I am so my mother. It's hysterical. And I loved her. She's great. But we didn't like each other when she was trying to teach me how to be how I am now. She's on the other side going, thank God you finally got it. you know, not all of it, but what else you gonna do? Treat yourself with some kindness and say, look at me. I'm doing that thing that mom did because I don't know what else to do. Okay, spirit, what other options are out there? Once again, you are surrounded with dozens, hundreds, thousands of all kind of beings that want to help you, that love you. You are not alone and you are not isolated, though you may feel like it at times that you need to do that to grow. But of course, you're going to do what your mom did. I mean, it's probably not so bad. But we hate to think that we can't do something original because we'd say, well, I never do that to a kid. Well, there we are, because we don't know any different. So what? I had this idea today. I was going in to get some body work. And for some reason, walking down the hall, it might have been the energy field of the building. It's filled with therapists and this and that. And there's a lot of heady stuff going on in that building. I thought, why don't we treat ourselves like we are our beloved? Why aren't we kinder? Why don't I treat myself as though I'm my caregiver? Why not? It's a skill. And most people don't do it. I've known that the trance medium that trained me could do that for himself. EJ, Earl Janet, he would say, treat yourself with respect and gentleness, how I treat myself. And I was 22 years old going, what the hell is he talking about? Why would I want to do that? That's weak. Not weak. No, it's kind and it's quiet. But we're afraid to get quiet because the world is so noisy and our heads are so noisy. But you're surrounded with help. Oh my God. Okay. I'll tell you this. This relates to how much help you have. Before the podcast today, I was in Albertsons. Got to get more creamer. I'm almost out of creamer. I'll stick a bunch in the freezer. So I had my little cart and it's loaded. And I hear over the music, they're playing Mamma Mia. Mamma Mia, there you go again. Na, na. I thought, I love that song. And I had some sort of psychic hit. I thought, what is that? I turned around and I psychically see about 40 beings dancing behind me like they're a chorus line. Just, I thought, oh my God, why am I seeing that? It's absolutely hysterical. Are they here all the time? No. Were they there all the time? No. But it's just one of those examples to remind me that I am surrounded and you are too. Everybody watching this, you're surrounded with intense, divine love and caring, treating you like you are their beloved.
That's so beautiful and fun. And what a wonderful image if we could all see or feel those beings, just like there's a dance party happening around you all the time.
And who am I going to tell, right? What Bertina she had today. It's still wackadoodle. And I say, well, it's really not. It's normal, but I don't think seeing it and participating in it is normal for the general population. I don't think so. We all have
You might
that.
have got a few heads turned if you started joining in the dance party there in the dairy aisle.
Well, it's Montana. Nobody cares. Montana is so weird. If you leave your purse in the cart in the grocery store and you get in your car and go, oh my God, it's in there, you'll go back. There'll be 4 people guarding your purse in your car by the time you get there.
I love that.
It is. No,
Wow.
I park my truck. I'm careful. Trust in all of it. Tie up your camel and feed the camel, by the way. But it's just different. So I don't know. In Montana, there are enough wackadoodle libertarians here where it's like maybe they join in. I don't know. I have no idea. But I kind of got out of that lane real quick.
Oh, that's my kind of place that just accepts random stuff happening and isn't so uptight.
Montana's uptight about other stuff. Every place has its own signature and its own frequency. But it's very casual here. It's very casual. There's a bunch of Hollywood stars that come down to, oh, what's that place? When they were filming Yellowstone just down the road here. And they were lovely. They were lovely because you could tell they were from LA. They were very different. But we treated them like everybody else. And they were kind and it wasn't different. I guess it wasn't different because we knew they'd leave. I don't know. I don't know. But you are surrounded. And that still small voice, that quiet that you get sometimes when you're trying to get to that love piece. This is just crazy Zoli, but I think we need to experience the crappy stuff too. We need to develop courage, stability, endurability, persistence, stick-to-itiveness, keep going. This is hard, and this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to keep going. So that's not
The
very
hard stuff gives us the resilience to be able to learn.
like coming out of the birth canal. Which baby goes, oh, I'm just sliding right through, I don't think
None of mine.
you've had 3 of them. I was born fully in the sack. I'm call born right at this call over my face. Probably scared the hell out of everybody. Oh my God, it's a gargoyle. But no, we tend to think everybody else has it figured out, and they don't. We're all just these little children. I remember sitting in a meeting once. This guy was just being a bully. This was in Was it Birmingham or Nashville? I was in my 20 idiot phase. And this guy was bullying everybody. And all of a sudden, I saw him as a little boy being bullied. I thought, wow, we're all these little children in our head just enacting our dramas. And that's what we do when we go into that freeze, flight, or fight. We're trying to get away from the stress, right? We're trying to get away from the drama because we don't like it. It's not healthy or happy or whatever. And usually you'll get away from it. Like I said yesterday, all this stuff you're seeing on television, on the media, of the fights, of the bullying. Look out your window, people. Do you see any of that happening? This is, as we said, law enforcement deals with 10% of the population 90% of the time. These groups are less than 10% of the population, but they're in the cities acting out. Where do they get the money to do all this? Both sides. Of course, we have both sides, and that's the problem. But the reactivity right now that you're seeing mirrors what you feel inside yourself. And what you feel inside yourself, you're seeing it enacted. It's the word rage that's making me nuts. You're enraged, you're outright, you're outraged. It's rageahol. And it's telling you it's okay to be that. It's not. It's not okay to outrage your emotions and assault people verbally and maybe battery them physically. It's not okay. But we see this now being acted. It creates more social unrest. So just say no. Just either don't go, walk away. Most of the protests are very peaceful. And it's people now, the difference is you go to a protest, and I don't go because I might break a heel. But if you go to a protest, you might have 1,000 different I want this signs. So what? It's not like in the 60s, Martin Luther King, Selma to Montgomery. We knew what that march was. That was divine. We know, but why isn't this divine too? Save the whales, save Palestine, stay Israel, save the people with blue hair. It's constant, and we want to be heard. This is what it is. This is the fifth chakra of humanity opening up. So we're like in a teenage stage, and it's just opening up. If you don't want to go, don't go. Who cares? We need reminders that we are okay and that we're doing this as a group soul, as humanity. We all live on this globe. We're all here. Go up to the common mind, 60 miles up, and look down. Oh my gosh. Gravity and emotion. We're stuck to this planet. We're stuck here. We're going to have to get along, but it's coming. Be courageous and hopeful and know that it is coming. And this is the way that we're doing it. When somebody's protesting peacefully about something you don't believe, so what? So what? Go buy them a latte or whatever. You know, we are trying to get this fifth chakra. The heart is open in humanity. I believe that. And when that happens, we want to express that. The next thing that's coming is the Ajna center, the sixth chakra, and that is your intuition. And that is your ability to see, like I could see it that one time, that man was just a beat up little boy. So we're looking for compassion, but if we don't feel it for ourselves, we can't feel it for other people. And we can't continue a codependent dependency on greater forces that are just material. This is all about the resources, the material world, commercialism. When in history has it been like this? I don't know. I have no idea. Chances are this is the apex of it. I don't know. But as we talked about in the radio show, the ancient cultures that are so beautiful, the Vedas, the original biblical writings, Krishna, Shiva, the Maitreya writings, these things are all saying the same thing. They say the same thing. And what if The Messiah the Jews are looking for, the Imam Mahdi that the Muslims are waiting for, the Christ the Christians are waiting for, Shiva, Kalki Avatar. What if it's the same person? What if it's the same person? I think it is.
It feels like that makes sense and would be the answer because it's peaceful and it's loving.
That person was scheduled to have worldwide communing worldwide quite a few years ago, but we, the people on this planet, chose materialism over that. So it's taken a little bit longer. But we'll get there. Trust me, we got a big old cool world coming.
That's wonderful. And it's so obvious that we've chosen the material. So it fits that it's been put off for a while, like as we muck through this commercialism and consumer mentality.
It's it's the same thing that happened in Atlantis, hundreds and thousands of years in that place where we, the root race there was that we, humanity, we were supposed to learn emotion. We did such a good job. We're still doing it. We're still emotional. Why, when law enforcement pulls over adults, do they start crying? What are you, two? Be realistic, people. You don't need everything you think you need. Grow a pair. This has got to stop. But I can't do it except for myself. We have to do it through a meditative state of mind, through a state of mind of allowing other people to be different than we are. Allow them. The media is all one side or the other, clearly, and you can tell who's on one side, and they beat it to death. Everything is the other side's fault. People are getting a little sick of it. Hollywood, who listens to those guys anymore? Movies are failing. Nobody wants to have to be told what you have to do to be okay. You don't. Do good, love mercy, walk humbly with God. All religions teach that. Be kind. Be aware of what you think and then say that and detach from the outcome. That's all you have to do. If you enjoy a religion, good on you. But not everybody's going to share your specific brand of what you think God is. The wars on the planet. Look at this.
We don't have to hate each other for being different.
Well, what's not different, really? The longer you sit with people, the more you're going to see how similar you are in the basic ways and how different you are because of how you were raised or your culture or your choices. And people with similar brains tend to stick together. It's just how we do. Like finds like. But that doesn't mean that we have to have everybody in our life. We need to be discerning also to have boundaries, to find what works for you. And if somebody's not working, if they're bullying you, run fast in the other direction. You don't have to martyr yourself. That was advice CNA. We don't do that anymore.
That's a good point to make. The bully might be just a little baby, but that's not your baby to pick up and fix, right? You don't have to stay and deal with their mess.
Really, stuff like that. Every month I see a couple guru type people say, if you don't do this and watch this, and only the chosen ones do this. Chosen for what? What are you, constipated and you need a laxative? I don't know. And so that is, you are being kind and you're being kind. So be careful what you watch, what you allow into your energy field, because enough icky stuff's getting in there anyway.
What's with humans thinking that some humans are better than other humans when we're all, our skeletons all look the same?
Oh, that's a great one. Pecking order. It's just pecking order. We want mom to like us the best. I think
So
that's,
we feel better when someone's doing worse than us.
it's jealousy. It's the deadly sins. We all share all of that. And we do it sometimes. There's some people now that I see on my feeds that are in, I'm not even gonna say who or what it is, but I'm kind of glad to see them getting their stuff. that people are finally realizing that they're idiots and that they're manipulative and they're criminal. You are going to get your stuff. So I feel that I'm a person. I'm not a guru. I'm just myself. So I feel that too, but I can't dwell on it and wish them harm. I think, well, yeah, that's a message to me not to do that too. See? So we learn by watching these other people. We watch scary movies to see how to get out of that stuff. One of the funniest commercials I've seen, and maybe you've seen this too, was these kids get out of this car and it's night and they go, where are we gonna go? He's gonna get us. And they look over and it's at night and you see this man, this big old guy, and he's got a welding torch or something. They're like, he's gonna get us. And he looks at him and he rolls his eyes. We create our fears and then we go live in them. So many fears I have, my negatory, I create that. And I'll go through periods where those cycle. It's low hanging fruit. If we're feeling afraid, if we're feeling envious, if we're feeling less than, we are going to go for the low hanging fruit. And that's usually going to be somebody or something that's either getting theirs or they're being dumb or they're doing stuff that we've done and now they're getting caught. What is low hanging fruit? And we're like, oh my God. I wrote this song about it years ago. You got 10 minutes in Hollywood thinking you look your best, 10 minutes in Hollywood, some about not the rest, and you'll be down at the bottom of the sea. I forget what it was, but it was about that. It was about the pecking order and how we start to believe it is true. And then we have to put ourselves somewhere in that pecking order. I think that's programmed into human nature. There are certain things that we are going to do. You're never going to figure everything out by the time you die your body. You're just not. So, what can we do right now in front of us on a daily basis? What is the priority, the kindness, oh, wow, that feels better. Sometimes it can go on for a long time that you just feel like crap, but you got to work through it. You can't quit. Maybe there's nothing wrong. Maybe it's a very spiritual experience. Maybe it's not. Maybe you need a massage, you need body code, you need EFT. Look at your astrology chart. There's help out there, is what I'm saying. But we're going to figure this out. I really believe that. And I've seen evidence, not to the contrary.
That gets me so excited and hopeful every time we talk about it. And I really feel like what we're talking about today about how you need to be kind and compassionate with yourself is kind of part of the key to that because we're not taught to put ourselves first because we can't always. We have to live with others. But that often leaves us to really not look after ourselves at all. I think a lot of people would even have a hard time loving themselves or being compassionate towards themselves because it feels like I think you said weak and or just silly.
That's very well put. And I totally agree. There's a delicate balance between caring for others and caring for the self. You know that by being a mother. Tom and I know that by being married. There's times that you just can't do for yourself or you can't do for the other. So it's never figured out. It's just not. But I think if we're kinder to ourselves, the people around us that love us will like to see that.
And maybe we'll start to like ourselves so we will be able to handle our emotions and our interactions with others a little bit better because we're not that scared little child that's crying.
We all like being around people who are positive and who are kind and who don't buy our BS, because when we go negative and they don't, we see how to lift ourselves out of that hole. And other people can teach us that. Spirit can teach you that. Sacred writings can. Relaxation. There are so many different methods. But ask yourself and ask your guidance what works for you. What is your divine order? What should you do first? And usually it's just to listen, just to sit and listen and feel.
Listening is a lot trickier than it's meant to be, especially with all the noise around us.
I always hear my grocery list, but whatever. Dude. Or where's the closest Starbucks? There is, and that's a good point. There's a difference in listening and being present and just allowing things to come through. I think the inner hearing is activated by our daily experience. Where are we? What, and that's going to change. The way that you hear in your inner world is going to change as you get older. It's related to a lot of different things, your neurology, the hormones. It's related to your environment, external, internal stimuli. And we're just not going to figure it all out. And I don't know why, in God's name, we think we're supposed to. And I think it's that competitiveness that we want to be seen as okay. If I see, and I know I will, I regret saying this, but if I see one more person on my YouTube feeds who has decided that they've got the answer to everything, they're all over the book. And I know when those people are going to sleep at night, they're terrified. Why would you tell somebody you know what they need like that? Why would you set yourself up so high on a pedestal that a slight wind is going to bust you over? Why? Fear. There's so much fear. If you look at the news and if you look at the internet feeds and you say, where do I see fear and where do I see love? Try it.
I'll say there's not that much love and there's a lot of fear. And it seems like the fear is what gets pushed to the forefront. You can't avoid the fear and you have to go looking for the love.
You do, and there are videos on YouTube that are loving. There's the one about all these dogs on the buses. Oh my God, Canine Convoy is one. I love that. All these dogs go on this school bus, then they go play and they eat things and they dig and whatever. It brings up love for me. It's kind and it's loving, and they don't care who the president is. They don't care. So I think there are ways of doing that. And when you see people doing kind things for other people, it activates that inside of us. But we don't watch that all the time because we're afraid of missing something that could be important. After 9/11 in this country, there are a lot of people that the minute they get up, they turn on that television because they missed the 9/11 thing and it was 11 in the morning before they knew. I know people like that. And that's fine. That's a lot of them were military. That was their job to know at a certain time, I guess. I don't know if I said that right. But we have to figure ways of negotiating reality. And reality is deep and dark. This world is a teacher about negativity. It's hard, and the evil here way overwhelms everything else. And does it reach crescendos and go back down? Yeah, it does. But there is a beautiful world that's coming. There is benevolence and there's kindness and there's understanding and there is divinity. And you don't really have to do anything to get that because it's your birthright. But it's going to come, and we have to avoid in ourselves those icky little places that give us right to be a jerk. And we all got them.
How do we hold on to that faith and hope in a beautiful future when so many people are trying to push the apocalypse and dystopian futures?
I wonder what they see when they look out their window. Do you see that? It's ridiculous. I can't hold on to that. I go up and down like anybody else, but I'm not a guru. I'm not telling you I know what to do. I'm a research analyst going, let's try this, let's try that. I really want us to wake up. There are a lot of people that want us to wake up, and we are gradually. We're like these teenage ninja turtles. We're always fighting things. It's just what it is. We'll get there, but I can't do it all the time. But what lifts me up is some of the sacred readings, some of those dog videos. When I see my husband, anything during the day when I think of ZoliArt and I think how far we've come with this, what we're doing, that's always uplifting to me. There's no fear in that for me. So when we find sacred places where there is no fear, they're quiet and it's the babbling brook on the beautiful day with the little snow white animals running around. That's a divine space. We all have it inside of us. But there are many, many people in this world, over a seventh of the whole planet, that doesn't have potable water or food, or they're living in war zones more than a seventh. Things are bad. They are bad, and it's awful. And how do you navigate that when you're living in a first world country? You have to do the best that you can and realize that you live in divinity.
Very true. Because we do live with a lot of benefits and privilege in North America, and we don't always see the atrocities and how hard it can be on Earth.
No, we don't see it. We need to be aware of it. I've been reading, not follower of, but Share International. Check out shareinternational.org. I don't agree with all of everything they're saying, but it speaks of the world that is coming and of what we need to do to get there. There are some beautiful, brilliant minds in the world who also have beautiful, brilliant hearts. And when heart and mind are joined together towards a higher power and a higher value, that's how we're going to do it. And we all have it in us. Don't let anybody tell you you don't. You do. We don't need to bully ourselves.
And it seems that creative pursuits and like the art you do and whatever other people follow their passions, it helps connect in that way.
It helps me, but I'm an artisan at artisan personality. That's what I do. I've got to get this out. And if I go through periods where I don't get it out, I'll get sick. I will get sick because I'm imploded. It's like spiritual constipation. You got to get this stuff out. And there is a reason why we present it in the physical world. You're taking the unseen and making it seen. No matter what you're doing, it's creativity. It doesn't have to be the arts, but it is creative. You are using your heart and mind, and you're presenting in a very vulnerable way what gives you hope. And you present that on a platter to those who might partake of it.
It's a beautiful example of how we can shine our light and keep that hope alive.
We all have that light. That's what we got. We all got it. We all share that. And there are times and places where it comes out more, and other times you think, what the hell? This is like living in a dungeon. Sometimes it is. But once again, we're not going to figure it all out. But what we can figure out is how to access more of those pieces inside of ourselves. Ask the world of spirit. Ask those dancing, invisible beings. Ask for help. You will get it. I absolutely guarantee you will get it. It may not be in the way for me that I think I will, or my impatient, the timing, it needs to be here, here, here. It will happen when it's supposed to and when it needs to. And thank God it doesn't always happen when I think it should. There is divine timing. The point in time of space and time that's presented illuminated, that is when enlightenment comes. That is when that happens, that explosion of light in your heart and in your mind, and where you can express your creativity. And your creativity can be setting your dinner table. It's amazing that we don't think of it like that. People say, what do you do, Zoli? I usually say, well, I'm an artist. Well, I can't draw. Yes, you can. Well, I can't draw like you. Well, I can't do what you do. You're a dentist. You think I can do that? I'm going, those are teeth. That's nice. Bye. We're not supposed to do what everybody does. That's why we need each other. And spiritually, we're not supposed to get what everybody else gets. That's why we need each other. And the next time you see somebody in media on the news railing against the other side, they're being paid to do that, or they're getting their pay in recognition because they are terrible, that they are wrong. Now,
And they're
that
really wanting to get a reaction.
yeah, but that said, you have a right to be on one side or the other if you choose that. Some people are kind of on neither side, but if you press them enough, you'll find out that they are on one side or the other. That's the kind of world we live in. We live in a bipolar world, up, down, black, white, night, day, whatever. That's how we live. Magnetics, electronics, these opposites is what we are trying to resolve. But we have to resolve it within ourselves in quieter ways. And I think these protests are a good thing. Do I agree with everything they're protesting? Not at all. Most of it I don't. But you bet I'll defend your right to do that because it's the fifth chakra. You're out there speaking, you're showing. And if you're peaceful, so what? Maybe we should all do that. I don't know. If I could wear flat shoes if I could find any. I'm too short. I can't reach counters.
In that way, everything's supposed to be backwards because reality is constantly changing and it's all upside down. And that's the way it's supposed to be.
I think that's a perception that you tie into, and I don't see it as backwards. I would call it something different. Somebody else. I've heard some people call it backwards, but I think what it is opposite to what we think it should be. It's like saying, "Oh, there's no gravity. Go up to that mountain and just jump off." There's no gravity. Well, hello. Well, the world's an illusion. It's all the matrix and nothing's real. Fine, walk into that wall real fast, see what happens. Come on, people. You can get too metaphysical and too woo woo, but you have in you the common sense and the realism of knowing the five physical senses rule this world. You need them, but you're not going to access God through them. You're not going to access your intuition through them. Are they bad? No, they're not. You can use tools, physical tools that stimulate you to reach divinity that you want. The sacred things that are sacred inside you. And some things you shouldn't talk about at all. Those are yours. But that's your decision. But the physical world needs to be dealt with in a different way. It doesn't need to control us as far as us manipulating reality through the physical world.
So we need to maybe worry less about whether we perceive things as backwards or reasonable and just allow and be aware and worry about ourselves.
I think it's very valuable to see things as backwards or unreasonable because they clearly are in a way. Why not? I think you can do both things. I really am a proponent that even in wars or battles or whatever, both sides can be totally wrong. It's not a right, maybe, or maybe they're both right. If Tom and I are having a marital spat, we have to come to agreement that we both have wrong parts and we both have right parts. And you just come to an understanding, but you have to be yourself. You can't give up yourself and make these bizarre agreements that we'll just agree on that and move on because it'll come back. And so I think it's fine to look at these things, Linda, and not ignore them and to find out within yourself, why are you saying it's backward? What does that mean to you? It reminds you of something. And I think it's quite valuable.
So part of the growth, then.
But you can do both. You can look at how backwards things feel to you and also feel a peace of mind. And I can tell you the calmer you feel, the less you'll be triggered to see what they want you to say and feel. And you will be able to feel more of what you want to say and feel. And so when you are told by outside forces that you're wrong or it's this or it's that, and absolutely it isn't, don't be deceived. And it's hard to stand up. That bullet's coming at you. It's hard to just stand there and just go, no. No is a great word.
It is, and it's not that easy to say all the time, but when you know that when you feel confident about what you believe, then you have to stand up for yourself.
There are times I think that we go through periods where we really are testing ourselves about that. And those are precious times. Those are learning curves. And those are the times that you may feel you don't have any help because the teacher's being quiet while you're tested, see? And I think that's a beautiful saying. I heard that a long time ago, and it's very, very true. They're there, they're watching you, cheering you on, but it's your test. And so, whatever you're feeling, know that you have a right to feel that. You have a right to that. But you don't have to bully other people to agree with you, how these things start. We want to be in a collective that feels safe. And I think that's also part of what's going on. We're looking for our tribes. What tribe are you part of? And that can change as you age. I'm part of a tribe. We tend to believe this way, we tend to do that, we kind of eat the same stuff. And that can be cool. It can also be debilitating because you can't get out of the tribe sometimes to be an individual. So there you have it again, the right and the wrong. Good and evil poured into the same cup and we drink it unaware. It's all going on at the same time. It shouldn't be a surprise that everything's happening at once. And it's interesting what we attend to and say that's real.
Right. That's both comforting and overwhelming at the same time.
It's horrible. It's wackadoodle. You know, I, I think why don't I? And I've told you lately, while I'm working on this art piece. I started this one piece maybe 4 weeks ago. Looked at it. I want to finish, but I have to be in a certain receptive state of mind to finish that. Tom says, I love seeing you do your art because I think he's intuitive and he can intuit that I'm in that special place. You see, but I haven't felt safe enough to do that. I've been dealing with some personal issues, this stuff with the world, this and that, trying to get snow tires put on 5 different vehicles. It's been nuts. It's just been crazy. But so what? It'll change like that. We go through these cycles and we have to understand this thing about give and take, up and down, right and left, the tides go in and they come out. That's how we live. That's how we live. It's the cycles, it's the waveform. And we are the particles in that waveform experiencing reality. But when we're in a period of this, we forget about that. And I think we're programmed to be like that. We're programmed to do that so that we'll do the work. Otherwise, I think it'd just be too easy.
We do need to be prodded to do the work, that's for sure.
But we all do. So what? We're either prodded by ourselves, by reward, or by punishment. If I don't do it, oh boy. And if I do it, oh boy.
We're always looking for the quick fixes.
It's human nature. That's what created most of the modern inventions. Dishwasher, washing machine to make it easier. I personally don't want to stand in a stream with 3 loads of laundry. I ain't doing it. I'll break a nail. I don't want to do that. So we take for granted the strife and the efforts that put into making life easier. Easier. Technology, the miracle of artificial intelligence, and the chaos that it's going to bring. Both. This is as big as the horseless carriage. Can you imagine you're living in a community? You got your horses, you got your carts, you go into town and this and that. All of a sudden, here comes this thing that's got 4 wheels, it's loud, and there's people in it. What the hell is that? And there are people saying that'll never catch on. It's not going to work. Like computers, that's just the devil's. That's not going to work because it's new and it's scary. And it's a point of huge change in human history. It's huge. And that's the point we're at now. You think it's not going to be chaotic. And it's not just hitting on one level. You have the angelic kingdom, the David kingdom, the animals, the cryptids, the humans, the space brothers. Everybody is on fire right now with this. It's on fire. It's acute. And we're seeing this show. It's like like 360. We're seeing it. But we are all working together, believe it or not. The problem is humanity is on this drug called commercialism. We are drugged with it. We deny medical, food, water if we don't get what we want as a country. That's going to end. You're going to see it end. But right now, it's shocking to me that it's taken this long for this great being to come out into the open. He's there, he's living in London. But it's up to you to decide if you believe that or not. It's up to you, it's up to anybody. And when he does come out, it's up to you to decide who and what that is to you, to give answers. Nobody's going to save you. You're not floating up into the sky. You got to stay because Earth is about humanity. We're the ones that have to fix this. We got into the boat. We got to row it. We got to do it. We got to do the work. So let's start now doing the same work we're going to do when this great being is out in the open, giving options and examples. If you do this, this will happen. If you do that, that will happen. That's a real teacher. But there's nobody coming to save you from yourself or your choices. It's just not. You can explain it to yourself in a different way and say, what do I know is true? What do I feel? And the people that say there's no higher power, what drug are you on? Come on. How do you think you got here? Well, it's ridiculous. They've been disappointed or they've been taught all the different dogmas of a religion and they've been hurt, and I don't blame them for being pissed. But come on. How do you access the divine and what is that to you? It's a signature. We all give off our frequency signature, and there's a special one for each human being, each one. And they're all specific. So when you're around people and you're trying to discern are they safe or not, is this or that, do I connect with this person or that person? Turn on your spider senses, your intuition, and ask yourself what you feel. You may not get an immediate answer, but are you safe to them? What is it there? It's, 8.5 billion people on this planet. Come on. You can't get along with everybody. You need a good set of enemies. That'll show if you really believe what you believe.
It takes all kind of people, and as humans, we often want people to look more like us or act more like us, and we don't have the patience to wait or see the differences are actually very beautiful.
Because we're scared. We're scared. And that's the Manu. The Manu is an energy field that comes with the Christ, the big guys up there. And the Manu is the one that sets the cultures, the races of people. And the Manu, the job for the Manu changes every now and then also. But the Manu now is working with the experimentation of all of this coming up to the surface. And what happens when things come to the surface? It's a horseless carriage. Humans are just afraid of everything. It's fear. What do they say? Fear is faith in the wrong outcome. Well, it's a lot more than that, too. We're not going to get away from it. We're all going to feel it. But the only way to escape staying stuck in all that is some kind of belief in higher power. What is your divinity? and to know that you are your beloved and that there's nothing in you that needs to be fixed, saved as far as your divinity is concerned. That's your gift from your soul. It never changes.
What I love most about our conversations is that it brings such hope to me, and I feel so much connected to higher power and the divine because you remind me that it's there, it's always there, and it's easy to access if you just get away from all the icky stuff.
I'm trying to remind myself when I talk, because I'm no different than you or anybody else. I'm the common man. I think any skill I've got, humanity has. I don't have to be an alien or a this or that if I've got special skills. And I think I've got some pretty cool skills, but that's the skill inherent in humanity. That's what joins us together. It joins us, and that hope is always there. It's always there. It never goes away. And by being
Thank you.
other people that feel that, that helps me too. You're welcome. Thank you.
It's so helpful to remember that we're all together because there's so much trying to push us apart for whatever reason. So we need to keep coming together and keep that hope alive.
Yeah. Push away. It's not going to work. Thank you, Linda.
Take care. We'll talk soon. All the best, everyone.